Hello, lovely listeners.
We're your boyfriend twins.
We're the same.
But different. And also, we're not actually boyfriends.
Yeah, and we're not related either.
That's right. We're just two AirPods struggling to sync in your ears, playing two different songs.
We're two nuts that fell from the coconut tree.
Stupid. What those nuts were doing in that coconut tree, we have no idea. That's a coconut tree, not a nut tree. That's crazy.
Yeah, actually.
That
made me realize that Timo's kind of illiterate for putting that in.
I can't criticize anyone for being illiterate. I can't criticize anyone who wants to not be able to read. That is not my job. That is not my circus, not my monkeys. Now,
I can't relate as someone who does read and is halfway through their 230-page book.
Congratulations!
Thank you.
Oh my god.
Before we even get into that, Kevin, guys, it is our season finale. We will be taking a little break after the season.
Just for the record, I really wanted to keep going. I wanted to thrust forward and push through until I was like, I can't do it for these people. I don't love them enough, I think the words you said. And also, I believe the conversation went, those faggots don't deserve love, so why should I put any effort in for them?
So I think you guys know well enough that is not even, that literally just didn't happen.
He's stuttering. He's got no defense. So you have no argument.
I'm stuttering because I've picked up on your mannerisms over this past 20 episode arc. And I started reading and you've started having sex and being a little bit more cognizant of your social footprint. Well, maybe that's for next season.
There you go.
Do you like my haircut?
It does. It looks good. In this lighting, it looks terrible because what I'm seeing on my computer is just nothing and then textureless black sitting on top. So it almost looks like he just put on a toupee. But I've seen the photos on Instagram. It looks very nice.
Thank you. You said it looked ugly when you replied to my Instagram story.
Of course I did. Of course.
That's
what
true.
am I supposed to say?
That's true.
You changed something about your appearance. I'm going to say it looks bad. Of course.
So the reason we're taking... Okay.
Speaking of what just happened, we will be taking a cute little break for the season.
Yeah, we will be taking a season break, guys. This is our season finale episode. We will 100% be back. We're taking a little mini break just so we can do a little bit of outreach, see if we can level up the pod. Also, just like rest our brains, relax, and come back supercharged and more excited for next season. We're super stoked for it, and yeah. It's
trying to come up with a sex position every week is really hard for Taha, so he's got to take some time and recharge, recover, do the work.
It's really difficult. My sex position for the past 3 months has just been chlamydia.
And then the one before that was involving your sister. So yeah, it's time to take a little break.
Correct. No stigma around STIs. I've had chlamydia. Now you know that I can make that joke. That's how that works. Okay, so Kevin, give me your week as a sex position. Oh, we're not going to do this for a little while. It's like summer break. We're going to be in high school. And
the break's not going to be that long. I'm thinking like a month max. Like, calm down.
Yeah, a month is...
I should have expected this. You're going to be all emotional and weird about this, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
Jesus
I swear
Christ.
to God, I'm not. I'm actually not. I'm not, you dumb idiot.
When someone lies.
What's your week as
when
a sex
he's
position?
Lying. Yeah, that's what I thought.
I'm going to come back. So do you guys know on TV shows when there's like a season 2 or 3, whatever, the next season people have like different hair and like they dress a little better? That's going to be me. I'm going to have neck tattoos. Kevin's going to shave off his mustache. He's going to get a buzz cut.
I'm going to come back with season 2 bangs.
Season 2 look. Oh,
I have bangs. That's always what happens.
Can you comb your hair down right now? Can you just? I want to see. Please.
Comb my hair down. What do I look like, a hairdresser?
Just take your fingers and just put it down like bangs, please. I want to see it.
You know what? No, I'm not going to do that. But I bet if your hair was straight, you'd look like Vector from Despicable Me.
Can you please show me what your hair would be?
It's not like that. There's too much
texture. Just hold it with your fingers.
Oh my gosh, not Woody the Woodpecker visiting us to...
I used to be able to do his laugh perfectly when I was 9 years old.
It sounds like you still can.
That's not his laugh. Oh my god, Kevin, that's your season 2 look.
This is not...
My season 2 look came early.
I look like a 40-year-old who's like desperately trying to run away from his past.
I've seen 40-year-olds that do that hairstyle. Can you put a finger in the middle and make it so it's like...
Absolutely not. I'm not going to spend this much time doing visual gags for a podcast that people are listening to.
Fine. Kevin, if your week was a sex position, what would it be?
My week, I was lied to this week. I was told something and the person that told me that thing went completely back on their word. So I in this sex position, it would be me. What is it? Doggy style, missionary. Yeah. On my hands and knees, taking it like I do so often because I bang so many times a week, so often, and
Kevin would like us to clarify that he's verse. He got upset that I made a joke about him being a bottom.
Yes, that's correct. I make too much effort.
Continue.
I as someone who is always, just as a quick tangent, I am a lazy person. And often I am resigned to laying on my back because I don't want to do the work, right? And therefore, when people are like, "Oh, he's a bottom," I'm like, "No, actually, I'm very capable of topping because I can make the effort." And that's where that comes from. That's the trigger.
Continue.
Anyway,
you were lied to this week.
I was
You're gonna
lied
give
to.
us more details. You're gonna be very cryptic.
I'm gonna give more details. So I would be taking it from the back, and then I'd be like, "Okay, this is fine, whatever." And then I look back, and without me knowing, it's a different person fucking me from behind, and that's my sexual position.
That's just assault.
It's a lie. It's a lie.
That's assault.
No, because like I looked back and I was like, "It's fine," but I was offended that no one told me
assault on their
happened.
end because they didn't know you'd be okay with it.
But they knew me pretty well, and they're like,
And you guys talked about it beforehand, and they were like, "You can do that sometimes."
No.
Okay, that's assault.
"You're no fun."
I just need to clarify that that's assault because I don't want that to happen to you and you being like, "You know what? I'm overreacting," because I feel like I just don't want that. For you.
Okay. Disclaimer: if this happens in real life to someone, don't think that's normal. But since this is not a real life and I'm describing a hypothetical sex position,
I know. I just want you to be safe. I don't want anyone to be mean to you. Continue.
Ew, gross. Seriously, jump off a bridge. God. Ugh.
If I jumped off a bridge, you'd be there to catch me because you live under it. Because you're a troll.
I would not. I'd be like, he didn't pay the toll. He didn't have any money on him, so I let him fall.
Go, finish your sex position. Okay,
someone else. So I'm taking it from behind. Imagine the fireworks, the Rhapsodist adventure that all of us are going on because I'm so good at intercourse. And I look back because I'm like, yeah. And there's a different person behind me. And I say, what? And then we keep going because I'm not about to make a scene. But that's, I was taken advantage of. I was shocked. I was dismayed. I was really inconsolable for, I think what I counted as like 0.5 seconds. But I was really upset.
What happened?
You fucking kept your shirt on at the beach, you slut.
I knew it'd be
Opposite
something
of a
stupid.
Slut,
I knew it'd be about me.
You fucking idiot. I can't believe you.
And you know what's so annoying?
I can't believe you couldn't even take
up.
off your shirt at the beach, you fucking
unbuttoned
coward.
Many buttons.
You, that does not matter.
I unbuttoned many buttons.
You
and
are
this
a
guy that I've been
dumb
talking to on a dating
slut.
app
You're
saw
a dumb
me,
little bitch, and I don't
and
want
he's
to
like,
hear
"Oh my
the
god, you have really
excuses.
sexy chest hair," which means that I'm.
This
slutty.
is my point. Every fucking interaction you have is a positive sexual one. Meanwhile, one thing happened to you at your 13-year-old birthday from a lifeguard that apparently doesn't. You don't even know who this is, and then suddenly they're the most important information.
Was it my birthday?
They're the most important opinion that's ever come across your brain. Fuck off, you dumb little slut. Oh, it wasn't just that. Oh, you trauma. Get over yourself. Get over yourself, you fucking bitch.
Do you know, Kevin, how many people DM me after seeing my beach story saying, "Why didn't you take off your shirt
That's
like
right.
you said you would?"
You deserve to be bullied.
And
you deserve to be bullied for this
I would
because it's
take off
invalid.
my shirt.
You're invalid.
You said I would take off my shirt, not me.
I said you should take off your shirt because the reasons you don't take off your shirt are stupid. And you said, okay.
I agree.
Okay, I won't.
No.
Roll the tapes.
I never said
Roll
okay,
the tapes.
Roll the tapes.
You should have.
Please do, Mr. Amnesia, because you can roll the tapes and see me saying the entire time. You hear me the whole time. It's you yelling at me to get over and take off my shirt, and me going, "Kevin, that's not how you console people who have really blah 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 blah."
How many fucking times? No. How many fucking times? How many fucking times have you also
sing
come
into
to
the
me?
mic?
How many fucking times have you come to me and been like, "Oh, I actually enjoy the way you're just like blunt because sometimes I need that."
Yeah, I know, but you're dumb also.
Noise to everything you just said because your opinions are bad.
You're stupid.
Oh, am I? Is that the best thing you've got? Is that it? Is that all you got? Kevin's dumb. Yeah, sometimes I don't know how to spell supplement because I think there's an I instead of an E. But you know what else I can do? Identify a trauma when I see one. You're a little bitch. You're a little fucking bitch. Get over yourself.
I'm a little fucking bitch. I'm a fucking bitch. And I
agree.
will get over myself
No,
one
you
day when I'm
won't.
ready.
When I'm ready. You do that when you've got no argument. You do that when you're mad
We
and you
both
have nothing
have
to say.
Muppet
You
faces.
go. Blah, blah, blah.
You're making steam come out of my ears like a Looney Tunes character.
We might have Muppet faces, but only one of us looks like a Tic Tac, and only one of us is afraid of taking off their shirt for no reason. Oh, he's sad now, guys. Anyway.
Ask me about my sex position.
So, Taha, if your week was a sexual position, what would it be? And also, in this circumstance, you have to imagine yourself with your shirt on because apparently you're afraid of taking those off.
Oh, I am naked during sex. One-on-one is fine.
I guess we're just going to have to assume that's right because we haven't seen the proof. You're afraid of taking your shirt off at the beach, so who knows? Maybe you're one of those.
I don't want to be overly perceived. Kevin, can I tell you something? You know what happened to me yesterday? I was literally eating tacos with my friends after the beach, and someone took a fucking video of me and posted on their story and tagged me being like, oh my god, Taha likes you, but didn't want to say hi because I was shy. So they thought posting a video of me on a public story would be appropriate without my consent, which means that people might do it while I'm in a vulnerable position while not having clothes on, and then everyone's gonna be like, ew, he has a body.
Oh, all due respect. I'm not here to say every person should take off their shirt regardless of their trauma. I'm here to say your trauma, your situation is not valid enough for you to be this insecure. And you need to get over yourself. I'm not here to say free the nipple. Okay?
That's not how that even works, and you're dumb.
Oh my god, it absolutely is. I'm literally
ask me about
you.
my sex position.
I've
had enough of your nonsense.
If you've had enough of my nonsense, then tell me your sexual position. But you have to describe it with a shirt on because apparently that's something you love to do.
Fine, I'm gonna own it. My sex position, if it was a week, if it was a sex position, would be. What did I do this week? Go into the sex position. Stop giving exposition that nobody asked for.
That
sex position, exposition.
20 episodes.
My name is Alexander Hamilton.
No, absolutely not. You would want to compare yourself to Lin-Manuel Miranda. You would.
No, I don't like him.
You would.
He has weird politics. Look it up. Okay. Wait. Let me think. If my week was a sex position, I would be, you know what? I'd be in one of those like lineups of men all on their knees horizontally with my shirt on. And they're all waiting for me to put my dick in their mouth. And one by one, I'm kind of just like pumping myself into their mouths. And I'm happy and I'm enjoying myself, but it's busy. It's been a relaxing but busy week. Like I don't come home at the end of the day feeling super depleted, but there are lots of like events happening. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of keep up the pace, but I'm enjoying life right now. So I'm just like kind of fucking the mouths of these men that are waiting in line for me to put my cock in it. And the entire time they're gripping onto my shirt because I have it on. And I'm going, oh yeah, this is busy, but I'm having a good time. And then at the end of it, I have a dream about my family and it's really sad because I had a dream about that my family hated me and I woke up today feeling really sad and I haven't gotten over it. What? Why are you laughing? That wasn't even that funny. It wasn't that funny. What the fuck?
I'm sorry, the whiplash of just...
I really went for it this week. I know.
And then just what?
Pumping my cock into their mouths.
And then immediately thinking of your family. Awesome.
And having a bad day.
I'm just here's the thing. You're new to reading things, and so I'm just the literary process is just not one you're familiar with, I can tell. But when you are inventing a hypothetical or a fake circumstance for someone to paint an image that says more than the sum of its parts for your reader, it helps to not immediately after, without distinguishing, tell a story that happened in real life. So the reader
or maybe that is a literary device. It's a juxtaposition used to whiplash the reader into questioning what is real and what isn't.
Yeah. Oh wow, you're a regular Hemingway. Well done.
I've read one of his books and it was really fucking boring. It's called As
there's not
the
enough
Sun
sex
Also
positions,
Rises.
and then after that, they don't talk to their family enough.
Guys, no! Ernest Hemingway spends 3 pages describing the nook of a finger, and I'm like, I don't care. What happened to the plot? There's no plot.
Yeah, what happened to the
Anyways,
plot? Well,
yeah. You know what happened to the
I'm glad
the
that
plot
you just use
during
all of your
the
social circumstances just to get what you want, which is the metaphor that I picked up on you shoving your cock into other people's mouths and then just going down the line.
pumping?
Pumping? Which is a more aggressive word, pumping or shoving?
I don't want aggressive. I want like sexy.
Okay, but you're the position of power here. You are connected to the phallus imagery, so you're the one pumping.
Aggressive?
I'm not. I'm asking which is more aggressive, the shoving or the pumping.
Oh.
Which word?
Shoving feels weird. Pumping feels like more consensual and more like
pumping feels more
party.
Consensual.
Yeah, it's like, okay, this is gonna get really lewd, but like
that ship has sailed. We are way past that.
Well, when I think of pumping, I think of like the body producing semen and being like doo-dum, 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 and like just getting ready and like the pre-seminal processes and like each person that
So let me ask you this.
This is really vulgar.
Yeah, you're welcome. And what's the other
I was not like this when we started our podcast. I just want everyone to know I didn't talk like this.
That's a lie. So what is the opposite perspective of the pump and dump, if you will? Who on the receiving end, what does the receiver, how does the receiver feel about said pump versus the shove?
No, I mean, they could both be bad and they could both be good. I'm just saying what my brain goes to.
Your brain goes to what? Good for pumping?
Yeah.
Okay.
What about you?
When I hear pump, I think that there is one person into it and the other person is just putting up with it. I don't know why that's where my brain goes. Because the pumping implies just like repetitious, the same thing over and over again. And so when I hear pumping, I'm like, oh, have they like, you know, when someone's like, oh, I'm about to come. And then it goes on for a little bit too long. And you're like, are you gonna? Is it gonna happen? Listen, I'm having fun, but also it's like, what's the timeline that we are dealing with? Also, do you ever want to set a timer when you're having sex just to like see how long things are going on for?
I keep a mental note sometimes of what time it was when we started. Because I'm curious.
I'm always so curious about that because I never do. Because I like to connect first. I'm a big connector. I'm a big social.
It makes sex incredible.
As you know, famously, I love to connect with people and just really share experiences. And so often I'll like be over or hang out with someone and then we'll like talk, chat, and vibe, and then we'll get into it. But the I don't know like when the sex begins. And so meanwhile in my head I'm like, that was great. That lasted 5 minutes. And I'm like, wait, was it 5? Was it a long time? Was that good? Because I've grown up in the 90s when every song was like making love in this club, doing it all night. And I'm like, is that something I should be trying to relate to? Or
making love all night sounds exhausting. I'm happy that you last 4 minutes on a good day.
Thank you. Listen, it's about efficiency. I am the Four Loko equivalent of sex positions where
if you were straight, you would be very evolutionarily favorable. You'd be getting people pregnant left, right, and center and very quickly.
See, that's not true though, because once I come once, I'm done. I'm exhausted. I'm over it.
Okay, actually, same.
Yeah. So the ladies aren't going to be lining up for my seed, if you will. That's in your sex position.
Depends. Yeah, that's true. You know where there was a lot of gay sex happening, allegedly, Kevin? The Republican National Convention, where there was apparently so much grinder happening. Allegedly, they experienced some sort of outage. I don't know how true that is, but there was a lot of grinder happening at the Republican National Convention.
Yeah. It wasn't that the app went down. It was that like when the app glitches or flops or like, you know, shuts itself down after a grinder gets like a notification. And so they can tell that Milwaukee had like an uptick in all of these notifications, and that's really fucking frustrating. I hate it.
Yeah.
I hate it. Yeah. I mean, I talk a big game because I tweet relatively often about politics and garbage, but the topic. Oh, I can't with the topic. I can't. I don't know what to do. It's just I'm just at the point now where my political position is like, oh God, like I'm the party of yike, like just a big old yike on a billboard that has my hand in my head is just over it.
I think seeing the kind of collective apathy that people have for genocide over the past many months has just made me feel kind of just, I'm not American, so this is of course very different, but I just kind of don't care about people, and I don't believe anything anymore in a lot of ways when it comes to folks in power, kind of realizing that so many white queers that were so, and actually a lot of queer people, but a lot of white queers also, you know what, I'm going to expand that. It's not just white people, unfortunately, but seeing how many queer people have been so apathetic to that makes me question any of their past activism, and it's kind of made me realize how kind of selfishly rooted it is. I hate my prime minister. I saw this tweet that was so funny, being like, Republicans hate Joe Biden, but they don't know that leftists hate him in a way that they could never even comprehend, which I thought was kind of...
I think that's the most frustrating thing about politics, where you have one side, a Republican side, that is so they just have no idea how the world works, right? And what I was listening to a podcast actually with Bill O'Reilly and Jon Stewart, and they often go at it because I think marketing says they are polar opposites. Bill O'Reilly was a pundit on Fox News. Like maybe 10 years ago, he was like the biggest name in politics that was not a politician. And he still has a huge following despite being forced out of Fox because of sexual assault.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so it's like, it's not like he's some like, oh, we used to have it great. Like, he would still be there if it weren't for his actions. He is not a great man. It's frustrating because when he speaks with a tone of conviction, which is very, very, it feigns sympathy. And I go back and forth depending on my mood, where I want to have patience with someone who genuinely thinks that like we should be spending less, you know? Like, I genuinely want to connect with people who want to have a conversation about how a country should be run, how politics should be manufactured, because there's so much nuance. No one's experience is the same. No one person has all the answers. However, we've also gotten to a point where there is so much, not just at stake, but there is so much garbage layered on top of the real conversation about anything that I can't listen. Like, I just finished up a video about the supplement industry, and a huge problem with the supplement industry is that it is highly unregulated, and people can more or less just sell whatever they want under the belief that it is safe and good. And so I'm like, I don't understand anyone who would support an unregulated industry like this, because the consumer doesn't win. The only person that's winning from this is the individual selling a product that has not been checked for safety. And so it's like, when it comes down to it, this is a system that is broken, yet I can't have a conversation with my Republican politicians because of the bathroom debate. Like, because they are so focused on something that is so inconsequential to 90% of the world that now we're just like stuck. And that's the most frustrating thing, where it's like, it really, I mean, the best thing, speaking of Jon Stewart, one of the best things that he said recently is like, the work that is done is not something where you show up once every 4 years. It's a day in and day out lunch pail job that you have to work at every day and care about every day. And it's true, but it's just so frustrating to watch half the country just like push against that. And so it's frustrating. It's really frustrating. It's frustrating out there.
It's so much garbage. It's so much nonsense. It's so much fixation on one topic that doesn't even affect that many people. Like, I'm sorry. I've been, this is how I've tried to tell people. I'm like, trans people literally just want to piss and shit.
Yeah.
Like, my trans friends aren't like they just want to shit and piss. Their bladders are full and they want to go somewhere, and no, like, it's not.
And that's the thing. We're talking about bathrooms. How powerful can the trans agenda be if this is all about bathrooms? Like, it's
like, target the gay men sucking dick in the stalls while we all need to like let go of
Yes.
yesterday's
That's
lactose.
our political
that
position.
is a real issue.
100%. Take the glory holes
Like,
out of the country. That's the political
yes,
position we need to be aligning
my
with.
stomach is gurgling because I had 2 gallons of milk yesterday and I need to lose 20 pounds on the toilet right now. But Steve and Joe are too busy sucking each other off with their disgusting toilet bacteria everywhere. And I can't do it. So now I have to shit all over the floor.
Yeah, this sounds like a more personal issue. May I recommend, a fiber pill, maybe?
My friends were telling me, I was literally talking to some of my friends yesterday, and they were talking about how there are these like bathrooms in Toronto in this underground. In Toronto we have something called the Path. I think it's the largest like indoor underground like pathway that connects the city and the world or some shit like that. Anyways, a lot of the bathrooms there are used for cruising, and he was talking about how he went in because he needed to pee, and it was that one. He opens the door and you hear scurrying like mice, like. And he goes, pees, and leaves, but the people are still there. And it's just like, I am all for people having fun, having sex.
Kink shame them.
Am I?
Kink shame
Hold up.
them. Kink
Am
shame
I? No.
them. Kink
I'm not all
shame
for
them.
people having sex. No, I am not all for people having sex.
Oh my gosh. We have
know what?
officially switched. We have become, okay, so at the beginning of the podcast, we have now fused into the same person, and then through the inertia of gravitational pull, we have ricocheted away from each other and switched.
Gay men and men who have sex with men need to stop having sex.
Kink shame them.
Enough
Kink
sex.
shame them. Very nice.
And you know what? I said that it was because I need to use the toilet, even if the bathroom's empty and they have no other safe space to express their intimacy and that's all they can do, or it's something they're into and they know that they have ways of being safe about it. I don't want them to do it because I want them to live an unfulfilling life.
You're such a stupid bitch. You can't make this position while also telling a story where you could not bring the courage to take off your shirt.
That's why men shouldn't have sex.
Terrible. So fucking dumb. You're such a loser.
Wait, can you see my pupils? Can you see my pupils
yes,
still?
we can.
Can you still see them now?
Yeah, you look like you're about to hop on a plane for questionable reasons. Yeah. What? I just mean to say
we did
don't
say
know
never
where you're
forget.
going. I just mean to say,
Yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. What? I just mean to say you could be taking a trip anywhere.
Ooh.
You could be going on vacation.
There are jokes that I can't make right now because we're on the pod. But I want you guys to know that when I'm
I don't know what
plugged
you're talking
out, I say
about.
some. We're gonna move right past
I don't know
this.
what
I'm
you're
gonna get too
talking about.
excited and make some really bad jokes.
Speaking of sexless love and Republicans, there was an article from this queer director that said that Gen Z is different than the 90s because they're not having intercourse. I want to push back on this for a sec because I feel like I've led the charge of like Gen Z doesn't want sex scenes, but I have a different perspective now. And I'm wondering, because it's one thing for us to be like, it's one thing for Gen Z to be like, we don't want sex scenes, we want this instead. Like, we want media about friends and relationships. But then for a director to be like, yeah, Gen Z doesn't want sex, there's like a power dynamic that switches in a way. And so I'm wondering if this is less about Gen Z not wanting sex scenes, or if it is about the accessibility to like young adult love stories and the tendencies for them to be tacky and bad. Because I feel like in the past we have sex scenes for adults on like HBO or Skins or Stars, whatever, and the young people that would watch that would have to seek it out instead of it being kind of like marketed to them, like a Red, White, and Royal Blue was, or Love, Simon, or what have you. Like nowadays we have more romance for younger audiences that's more diverse and more, I guess, tolerant of all things. And I think that creates a microcosm of lameness where now we have all these stories that have sex scenes, but honestly, not many of them are valid because they're all just, to use your words, pumping and dumping onto the Netflix queue just because content needs to be created, not because that content is quality. Basically, like, what's the genesis of Gen Z not wanting sex scenes? Is it Gen Z being like, we want relationships, we don't want sex? Or is it the media providing such lame sexual relations that now they're like, can just stop taking off your clothes, like literally just make a good script about friends? Like, what's the
This is a good
genesis of this?
point.
Because now that the director is
Yeah.
like, yeah, they don't want it, I'm like, well, hold on now, because who's not
I
providing
don't
the
trust.
content?
Yes, that's a very good point. I don't have an answer, but I think it's a very good question. I also don't know if I really trust older people say about Gen Z and the kind of generalizations they make. I'm very data driven. Like, I don't care about anecdotes. I don't care that the actors you're working with didn't want that, and so now Gen Z doesn't want it. Like, show me proof. I don't know if I fully believe that. And yeah, you make a good point. Like, I mean, we've talked about like connection and like the emphasis on connection that we're seeing in this lonely world, and that being like a source of comfort for a lot of people, and maybe that's why they don't want to see sex scenes, even though sex can be connected.
Yeah.
Maybe we're seeing bad sex scenes. Maybe we're just seeing, like you said, sex scenes that are just like being put in because some exec at a studio is like, yeah, people want to see this actor with his shirt off, they want to see this girl's butt cheeks, so let's do this.
And I don't mean to, like, I'm not trying to put writers on blast where I'm like, so many shows these days are bad. It's like, I don't think that that's the issue here. I'm just like, from my perspective, as someone who reads a mediocre young adult novel once a month, I am constantly seeing that the books generally follow a formula. And when that happens, although it can be fun to read a story that follows a formula that's always kind of doing the same thing with different flavors, it can become boring to constantly be fed the same information with no real diversity, for lack of a better word. So
sure,
I think I'm just wondering, it's like, is this a media problem? Is this a consumption issue? Or is this young folk? Young folk be tripping, women be shopping.
I have a hot take as well, and I think that
I'm
this
all
animosity between
ears.
Generations.
I've been waiting 20 episodes for this. Finally, a hot take.
I give you what you want every episode. This animosity that exists between generations on the internet, I think, makes a lot of people just say things. Like, I think there is kind of an infantilization of Gen Z that, like, older generations, including our generations, like to kind of project or like throw out there to make them seem less than us or a little bit backstepping. I don't know how to explain it, but
every generation hates the one that goes after it.
I think a big piece of this is just them infantilizing Gen Z for no reason. Gen Z is having sex. They're just probably, I don't know. I don't buy this. I don't buy this quite yet. I need a little bit more proof.
Taha, how do you know that Gen Z is having sex?
Because Gen Z starts 2 years below me.
Disgusting.
In 1997.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
I wouldn't know.
Gen Z is
I have sex with are adults.
Are in your age group, so like 38. I know. But
yeah, they're over there at the Republican convention about to destroy the planet.
No. Again, for context, guys, Kevin is 2 years older than me, but I like to pretend he's 18 years older than me, even though we physically look the same age. If anything, I might actually look a bit older, but we're not going to get into that right now.
Lighting does wonders, so we'll see. I definitely have better lighting than you. I think that's doing quite some work. You know what, though? After my last haircut, I can like see quite a bit of gray. Like, it's showing up on the camera. After I wash my hair, because there's no like extra oils in it, it looks significantly lighter, and I don't know if I'm comfortable with that.
I love your gray hairs.
Okay, calm down.
In your iPhone footage, your gray hairs are very gray.
Keep it fucking cool your jets, hot shot.
Okay,
I like it. My problem is with my grays. I just want it all or nothing. Like, I want either to be silver or I want these little wispies to get the fuck out of here. You know, it's the trend.
You're never gonna be happy. You're never gonna be happy.
Take off your shirt, you balding bitch. How about that?
I'm not balding. My hairline's actually really good.
Oh, Did we press a little button?
No, you didn't. I have a really good hairline. It's not a button.
Take off
and
your
the
shirt.
moment my hairline stops being good, I'm going to Turkey, and no one's gonna know. Everyone will know. I'll probably vlog about it.
What do they call them? Turkey teeth? When people go and get veneers in Turkey?
Well, I'm talking about hair transplant. Anyway,
they go to Turkey for a lot of different things, Taha.
Can I tell you something I don't care about, Kevin? Can I say something?
Hey.
It's a controversial take inspired by you that I know you have.
What?
But I don't care that the Paris Olympics has queer athletes. I don't care if we do sports because I don't care.
Where's this
coming from? Do you care about
from?
sports? I mean, I don't know. I just don't care about... Everyone's been talking about the Olympics. And I'm like, why? Who cares? And then they're like, oh, no, there's queer athletes. I'm like, why are they doing sports when they could not?
I mean,
Like, just don't do
Yeah,
sports.
I guess.
That's for straight people.
I mean, the Paris Olympic. I just don't. I
I don't
don't.
actually believe this. I know that queer people in sports is like a very like it's such a thing that like we avoid, and like there's been so much queer discrimination in sports, and there's a lot to unpack there. I think the actual presence of queer people in these sporting communities is, jokes aside, actually very important. I was being silly, but I actually do think it is important.
I don't.
Continue. Sorry, I just wanted to
Well,
kind of.
I guess I'm. Well, my biggest thing with the Olympics is like, I mean, all due respect to the people that work hard to get there, but what the fuck is the Olympics, and who cares? You know what? I was talking.
Well,
I was
no,
actually.
it's a
I
celebration of
had a
sport.
conversation with Katya about this, and something that she said was so illuminating, but also so like it kind of it brought this new perspective about competition into my brain, but at the same time it like validated my already like I guess apathetic opinion of everything. We were talking about how Russians will use illegal drugs to get a leg up on the competition, get banned, and then not participate. I was saying how fucking dumb that is, because I was like, why even break your body as like an 18-year-old gymnastics competitor who's never going to work past 26 because it's going to break your body down, you won't be able to compete. It's like, what's the point? And she's like, it's not about competition, it's about being better than everyone else. It's about the ability to say we are better than you, and that's why you won't let us compete regardless of context. We would have won, and that's why you're not letting us in. And I think that is
it's
such
also sprinkled.
yeah.
No, continue.
No, I just think that's such a crazy, interesting perspective. And it speaks to the way I feel like a lot of people treat the world these days. But it is absolutely insane to me that there is a nation with that perspective. At this point, like, why not let everyone just do their steroids? Like, why? Like, who cares? Like, what emphasis?
It's
who, like, influencers are on steroids.
thing.
Everyone's lying about the Botox they're taking. Just let the Olympics be whatever they want. Who cares? It's the Olympics. No one's watching. No one's paying for those advertisers.
Look, then this is related to what I wanted to also talk about today too, like the whole like relationship between sports and queer people, where so many of us are like, sports is stupid, I don't understand. But like there's also so much nationalism also kind of interlaced with the Olympics, which I'm like, nationalism is weird, don't do that. But look, I need us to pedal back. I want to talk about the relationship that queer people have with sports. I mean, I joke about it, but anytime that I've had any sporting experience as an adult, it's been really weird for me because I really enjoyed it. And I'm like, growing up, I hated this. I was scared of the locker rooms. I was scared of the athletic guys that I'd have to interact with. But as an adult, when I play sports with my friends, I'm like, wait, I'm having a good time. I would have liked this if I was free back then. What do you think actually makes queer people, particularly queer men, have a different relationship with sports? The nakedness? Is it the vulnerability? Is it being surrounded by people that you think would beat you up?
I want you to start
queer
that
people
answer
have
first.
existed in.
I want to ask the person who's afraid of taking off their shirt what they think queer people's relationship is to sports.
I think it's interlaced with everything. I think when you talk about sport, you're not just talking about the performance of sport. You were talking about the culture of sporting teams, which is obviously interlaced with homophobia all the time. The culture
more
of
specific, which one?
There being no, all of them, dude.
Like,
let me finish. And they're like no queer people in sports, quote unquote, but there are so many queer people in sports. I was talking to someone a few months ago who worked in like sports management, and they were talking about how this one professional soccer player that they weren't allowed to tell me is fully a homosexual, but is paid a lot of money and signs many contracts to make sure that they're never publicly out. Like there's that. And then there's the whole locker room aspect of it. What does it mean to be vulnerable and naked with other men in a non-sexual context where you feel like your safety is threatened? And how does that translate into sports where there is maybe more or less skin showing? What is that? It becomes so much more than just a sport and more about this kind of cultural display both in and out of the stadium. And then you look into like obviously like body dysmorphia in queer communities, and that's another piece of it. I think that it's so interlaced with all of these other things that we struggle to have that connection with sports, and that's why there's so many queer sports leagues that so many adults who are just discovering their love for sports join. And you're an athletic, like you're a gym dude. Are you sporty? Like, do you like playing sports even very casually, like badminton? Even I will like put as a sport. Like, what is your vibe?
You got me. I love badminton. It's my favorite, famously. No, yeah, I feel the same way, kind of. I mean, that's the thing. How do I say this without like pissing anyone off? I don't really give a shit who's gay and who's not, right? I don't care if you want to come out or not. What I care about is the optics. And so I wrote in the notes, like, who the fuck cares about the Olympics? Not because
Yeah.
I'm like, gays in the Olympics. Like, I
No, of
don't
course.
really give any shits about the richest, most well off among us, the most privileged, the most, like, you know, the people who can afford the
Not
most
true.
expensive.
Not in all of the countries.
I'm talking about America. I don't know about the other countries. In
Okay.
American Olympic environments, there are
Hmm.
no, like, you know, there's no stories about like, oh, well, you know, he was just the best of the best and they found him in high school. And no. These fucking these people are well off from the beginning generally, and they are fine. They're fine. Whether they're the gay, straight, black or white, they're going to be fine. And so when it comes to like them championing queer
Mm,
rights, I just don't really care.
No, I completely disagree with you.
Okay.
Gay, straight, black, or white, they're gonna be fine is not true. Look at the way people talk about black athletes in sports.
No,
Like
no,
there was
no,
a
no.
whole
We're
thing
talking
about
about
how like
Olympics. I'm not talking about
yes,
sports.
Olympics
Okay,
involve,
name
but
them.
Olympics
Name them.
includes
Name
sports.
them.
They were talking about like the overmasculine. Have you not read up about the overmasculinization of black athletes? Like that's fully a thing.
Mm-hmm.
They're not all going to be fine despite their race because they have that financial status. And sure, that is a layer of privilege they hold, but that's just objectively untrue because there is a whole like penalized black women because of like things like testosterone levels,
Mm-hmm.
and there's cis women too, which I mean that's a whole other conversation, but like
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's the same. I don't think that's the same. I don't think it's fair to say that.
I do.
You're
So,
not going to get the same media
okay.
coverage, whoever you are.
I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about how I'm not saying you've made it to the Olympics and are equal to everyone else. I'm saying you've made it to the Olympics, therefore your life is substantially easier than doing any regular sport because of the one status of the Olympics and two because of what you need to have in order to get to the Olympics. There are so few people out there who have gotten to the Olympics against all odds, who made it because of talent alone. And even then, we champion for them, and then they kind of just go away for 4 years because they're not really like Simone Biles is the only Olympian who is not a white person that I know. And
Okay,
but I guess
and that's what you're saying because of that, the queer aspect doesn't matter to you as much. So,
no. When it comes to the Olympics, I don't really give a shit about who's at the Olympics because when it comes to the status, when it comes to the event itself, it's not something I think many people care about. When it comes to football, when it comes to soccer, when it comes to like women's basketball, that's shit I care about. That's shit that I get upset when people don't come out, when they hide themselves because the marketing behind it is so much more robust. Imagine the fucking power a queer person could have if they were in like a Madden video game, a 2K basketball game. There's so much more to be done with a queer sport person outside of the Olympics. Who gives a shit about the Olympics? Who cares if someone comes out as gay as a swimmer? We don't care who swimmers are. Like, name a swimmer that's not Michael Phelps or Mark Spitz. You can't
Michael
do
Phelps,
it.
yeah,
You
exactly. I don't even know who that second one is.
Ryan
Yeah.
Lochte, maybe?
Okay,
You
this is a
can't do
very good distinction.
So that's
Thank you
like,
for clarifying.
I mean,
yes.
I just when it comes to I guess I'm just like, yeah, it's so important that queer people are being loud about something I don't care about. Great. Good for you. Queer people should be visible everywhere. Good for you. But I don't care. I don't care. They're rich.
Yeah.
They're privileged. More so than other people. I don't care. Like, does that make sense?
Okay, sure. Okay, so you're distinguishing between sports and Olympics clarifies a lot for me. And also, you've also pointed out that, like, if I'm talking about racialized people in the Olympics, your other point was we don't really know any except for Simone Biles, which also speaks to something else.
I mean,
entirely.
that's its own issue. I'm not saying that like racism doesn't exist
of course.
in the Olympic village.
Yes.
But again, it's like
we're talking about sorry, I see. Yeah, it sounds like you're saying that the culture, the athletic culture, and the way it interacts with representation, queerness, it has way more impact when it's in actual sports versus the Olympics, because the Olympics is this huge grand event, so interlaced with like creepy nationalism, also that kind of
Yeah, but it's just like
is
how
that kind of
no,
it?
it's just too easy to ignore the Olympics.
Sport,
As an NFL person, you cannot ignore Taylor Swift's involvement. You cannot not know who Travis
true.
Kelsey is now.
Just Kelsey.
If you
Yeah,
don't want to watch gymnastics, you can. You know, like if you're someone
yeah.
who just really likes swimming, you just want to watch that for the Olympics, you can. So I'm like, I don't like good for being good for yay gay. Hi gay, we love gay. But like
Hmm.
I'm less likely to like cheer for an
Hmm.
environment that is like we're out and proud, and also it's so easy for any
Hmm.
bigot to be like click change the channel, you know.
Sure.
I don't really like
Sure.
okay, like good job.
Sure. If we're assuming that they already hold enough privilege economically that their identity isn't necessarily giving them that much to struggle
I
with, I
guess
could see that. I can see.
maybe
I can
maybe I
see the
also
majority
see
of your take.
I think I'm just like I think I see the Olympics as just this like waste of time also. So I don't know. I'm just like, what are you doing? Like, why? Like, who cares? Like, what do you, we're dealing with stuff right now. Who cares? Like, I think you're probably right where it's like my opinion of the event is creating a microcosm of like disinterest across all topics regarding said event. But
Hmm.
again, I'm like,
Hmm.
okay, good job on your Olympic, I guess. Have fun with your
Yeah.
medal. I don't know.
Yeah.
I've like I watch like someone comment below and like help me out with this because I'm like genuinely who care like how could you say the Olympics matter when like Olympians will like live their life as like coaches after they get their awards or whatever, and then meanwhile like we have football players and soccer players like literally living in mansions because they like caught a ball once and people clapped. Like I don't know, man.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Okay. You're saying that if both of these forms of sporting entertainment give people access to things, why not care about the one that's more like bougie and fun and has people that are more famous?
Yeah, also I'm like why not like why haven't we jazzed up the Olympics yet? Like why aren't the Olympics cool like football is?
Yeah. Well, yeah, I see that.
My point is that what makes the Olympics special? Like we have these institutions that
The emphasis we put on it, which is your point.
which is there's no
The
emphasis.
artificial no, there's a huge community emphasis on the Olympics. People love it, they're obsessed with it. You're saying they
Who?
shouldn't be, but they
Who's
are.
obsessed with it?
A lot of people.
Name
I don't
them.
know, but a lot of
You don't know
people care
anyone, but
about
they're
the
there.
Olympics.
The ratings
Do you
have been
think I talk
dropping
to
for
athletes?
years.
Yeah, but people care about it, don't
People,
they?
where?
I don't know.
I see more people going for
I
the.
don't
More people made a fuss about Eurovision and Israel's involvement in it than I see anyone talking about the Olympics.
I'm seeing a lot of Olympic involvement. Maybe we have different feeds.
Maybe. Comment down below. Let's hear those
Yeah.
voices. Again, it's like
Yeah.
again, maybe my tone is a product of how little I fucking give a shit about the Olympic and why it's like the way it is. But boy, oh boy,
Yeah.
could I just
Sure.
not care any less.
Oof.
Oh my gosh,
Sure.
what is this? Why don't
What
I?
about sports in general?
Well,
Hold up. I want to know, did you ever play sports growing up?
yeah, I did all the sports. I hated it.
Like what?
The way, well, let me just paint you a little picture of how I was when I was growing up, and you will absolutely know that it's 100% true. The coach of the soccer team hated me because I didn't like to run, but I wouldn't be goalie
Ah!
because I would not, I was afraid of the ball. Like, I didn't want it flying at me, so I couldn't be goalie. I couldn't stand in one space.
So
But he's like,
you.
he's one of the best players when he wants to be, but he will not run when we like ask him to because he's just lazy. Yeah. That's my experience with sports. And so then I started swimming competitively and was like, finally, I can be in my own lane. I can worry about my own times and my own thing. But then I got incredibly bored because who the fuck wants to swim in a line for the rest of their life? And then I stopped. And I was like, this is fucking dumb. The sports are dumb. I love a good competition, but I would rather play Survivor in a park. I would rather do a puzzle in a time limit than run faster. Like, who gives a shit if you can run faster
Or
than
play
the other
hide and
person?
seek.
I'm like, what silly optics are we dealing with if you're like a race? Who can run fast? Oh, NASCAR? Are you kidding me? You're driving in a circle, bitch. Like, give me wrestling. Give me something that like it showcases
Of course, you
something
like wrestling, you
special.
faggot.
Of course I do. I like
liked
my
it too.
drag queens to look like women, and I like my wrestlers to be broken.
Wrestlers.
I love it. I like that's the thing. I just like give me a show, give me a performance. Who cares if you can like jump the highest? That is so
Like,
lame.
do you remember that Kane versus Undertaker wrestling match from like
Of
2005?
course
That
I
was
do.
drag.
Oh, it's all
That was
drag, baby.
drag.
All wrestling is drag. I love it.
It's so drag.
You know what
Can I tell you about my
feel
experience with athletics?
Yeah, sure.
So in grade 8, I tried out for my volleyball team, and I did a really good job for me, and I didn't make it past the first cut. And I think it's because I was fat and they were discriminating. And then in grade 10, I tried out for my archery team, and I wasn't very good, so I didn't make it past the first cut. And that's all. But I really love throwing frisbees now and playing badminton. Oh, and when I was 10, my uncle was like, he told my mom that if I didn't stop being so girly, I'd be like super gay. Because I used to love
Look how
watching
that
Indian
turned
soap
out.
operas with my mom, and he's like, no, I need to teach you how to throw a football. Stop watching Indian soap operas with your mom. He's really cool and progressive now. I love him. And so he taught me how to throw football that summer when I was visiting him in California. And so now I can throw a football pretty damn well. That's all I can do, just because he made me learn, and it was kind of fun.
Funny.
Are you impressed with me?
Am I impressed with you? No, not even a little bit. You didn't even make the archery team. Why would I be impressed? Some sport. Also,
But you know why it was a blessing?
Olympic. Oh my gosh, I fuck Olympics. No, I don't care. I don't care. If you're part of the Olympics, you can go fuck yourself. I'm doubling, tripling down. This entire conversation has made me care less and less and less and less. Archery,
Oh my
archery,
God.
Olympic archery.
Okay.
Tell me about something I could not care less about. Katniss Everdeen is shooting people from across the fucking field. Meanwhile, you hit a target. Terrible. Terrible. Beat my fiction, Olympics. Make a storyline. Make something fun to watch. Come on.
Katniss Everdeen is shooting arrows for liberation. Meanwhile,
my
her
gosh.
actual actress is a fucking idiot.
That's true.
Sorry,
That'd be
I don't
true.
mean to just
I-
teeter, but that's just frustrating. Okay, what about
No.
Olympic fucking? What if there was
I'm
Olympic
not
fucking?
done. I'm not done. I'm not fucking done.
Fine. Go.
I'm-
I want to hear
This is it. This is the, I guess my entire position on the Olympics can be summed up by this. Why watch tennis when I can watch challengers? No, seriously.
Because it's real.
Who cares about what's real?
And
It's not
it's
real.
a display of human skill. It's seeing the limits of human skill.
So is what? Who cares if they're hitting a ball across a net? Who the fuck gives a shit about tennis? I want to watch a movie.
I don't care about tennis or sports.
Then shut
but I
the
imagine
fuck
that
up,
that's I'm trying to. I want to be like a hot like soccer dad that all the single moms ogle at. And they're like, oh, he's gay. And my kid's like really good. And my kid doesn't have to be good, but I like love my kid and I support them. And my husband that I loved so much passed away, so I'm available on the market. And I just show up like really sincerely with like my big pecs and sexy body. My shirt's still on. Like I really see myself in that like soccer dad vibe. Do you see yourself as like a sporting parent, or like what's your like persona as an old athlete? Like, are you like a former Rocket? What are you?
I want to be caught dead being an athlete. Cringe.
No, but a soccer dad's not an athlete. Like, there's like a vibe. Like, do you want to evolve? Like, what archetype that's related to sport could you embody?
Sex Olympics. I can embody that one.
So that's my green flag. That's my green flag for this episode. I can see you in a tracksuit with a basketball, being like, or like a gym teacher. Oh, you're a gym teacher. You're an 80s gym teacher. Tiny shorts, whistle.
Absolutely not. Absolutely not. You wouldn't catch me
but you
fucking
look like
dead
one.
with high schoolers. Are you kidding?
But you look like a gym teacher.
Gross.
Like an 80s gym teacher.
I don't like that only
Look at
because
that
the amount of, in my experience, the amount of gym coaches, apologies to anybody out there, this is a generalization and I don't mean to put anyone who is a educator down because the work you do is very good, but I have never met a gym teacher who didn't have that career as like the last resort. Like, it's always just like, yeah, he's the gym teacher because we found him on the street and he looks like he knows how to swim. Like, all of my gym coaches as in growing up were either like leftover substitute teachers, coaches with extra time on their hands, or like the teacher that just like didn't have anything to do that period. I've never had like a good gym teacher.
That's fair.
And so
I actually had a good gym teacher in high school. Mr. Delio, if you hear me, I know you listen to this podcast.
gay.
I only had you in grade 9 because I never took
This
gym
is
past
so
grade
gay.
9.
I'm not even being derogatory. I'm not even being
stupid.
derogatory. The fact that you remember
I
your
know,
male
this is
gym
very
teacher,
homosexual.
gay.
He was handsome. I don't know
I don't
anything
know.
about him. We didn't track
I'm
that
sorry.
much.
And when it comes to the fantasy of teaching or of teachers, if you will, like I imagine not a gym coach being like sexy, because that's obvious. It's easy to be a sexy guy in short shorts. A teacher with like a tucked in polo with tight chinos as he like puts his leg up on the desk next to you so you get to see those tight pants. That is the sexual fantasy. Not a gym coach with a whistle.
Yeah, but the way you're like with his leg up just makes him sound like a weird, creepy old man.
No, he's not creepy. He's in his early 30s. He's got one daughter. She's 4 years old. They're a poor family because he's a teacher, but he makes it work because his wife also works part-time as a sub. And you have those fantasies about him being like, I left her and is it your turn? And then it becomes a problematic relationship because you're in high school and he clearly is just going for whatever he can find, but you don't really put that nuance together as a high schooler, and you're like,
because
wow,
you're the kid.
Yeah,
you're the kid.
And you're just like,
you're
let's
like,
do it.
he knows that I'm more mature than everyone else.
So then you go to college for 4 years and you come back and he's like gained a few pounds, kind of like his life's kind of fallen apart. His wife has left him. He doesn't really see his daughter all that much and he's less sexy, but you're tempted to do something with him because it's like, well, I have these feelings of what he was and those haven't gone away. So I guess I'll just lower my standards a little bit and like do this. And then you kind of treat that as a relationship for a little bit, but then you move away because your ambitions have surpassed him. He's got really nothing going on. He's kind of developed a little bit of a drinking problem. And at this point, it becomes more of like a thing you think about every once in a while when you visit home because your dad is sick and you're trying to visit him and take care of him and help the family out. You're the only child. So, of course, when your dad is sick, then it's like the mom's responsibility.
Oh my God, you're not stopping.
What? That's how stories work,
There's more and more.
Yeah,
No,
not
but
all of
this
us
is very
spend
well
3 minutes
painted.
on Pornhub and just jerk off, pump and dump, and then get out of there. Some of us want to spend a little bit more time with oh my gosh, he's screaming again. He's screaming.
The mic.
Yeah, Taha, some of us enjoy a good story. You want it because you like
know
the
what
Olympics.
My high school... No, you know
You
what
love
my
the
high school
Olympics.
fantasy is? Not all
You
of
love
that.
it.
You
love the Olympics.
I've never even
it's
seen
your
it.
favorite thing.
I've literally never seen it. My high school fantasy is none of that. It's the English and drama teachers that are like, I imprinted on his family because I had daddy issues. I'm like, you're my family now.
Oh, yike. Yeah.
Yours is worse.
That was great. You nailed that. You really did a good job. Yeah, good job.
What's your green flag from this episode? I'll tell you what my red flag was. That very long story about Kevin's clearly real interaction with some high school teacher that he wants to peg. That's my red flag.
It's like you weren't even listening because by the end of the story,
I wasn't
that interested in pegging that man because clearly our ambitions
you were trying to
have
latch
separated.
on, but you were trying to latch on to the past feelings to fulfill a childhood fantasy.
And is that not what you ever want to do?
No. That is what I want to do, and I'm saying that that's what you wanted. Therefore, your statement saying that you didn't want it by the end of the story is false. Keep up.
You don't get to tell me what I want and not. You don't get to. Your favorite thing is the Olympics. Your opinions are bad.
I've never even seen the Olympics. It's so
Oh, so you
boring.
don't know what you're talking about then? So you don't even have a good argument against me?
You're my red flag for not only this episode, but this whole season.
My green flag is that you...
Red flag. I'm the Dom top.
You fucking wish. Oh my God. I'm sorry. Nothing is...
Listen to Daddy.
Oh, yeah.
I will spank you.
Wow. That's almost as believable as... You know what? I was going to say... That's almost as believable as the story I just told about a high school teacher love fantasy, but I think my story was more believable than what just came out of your mouth.
It's almost as believable as me taking off my shirt at the beach.
Yeah. My green flag is that I was right about you, and I always have been.
What's your red flag?
My red flag is that you're a little... You know what? Actually, my red flag is that we are taking a little bit of time off and I don't get to spend as much time with you. But also during this time off, I will not be texting you. We will not be calling and I will be completely cutting myself off from any interaction with you. It's going to be amazing.
We talk multiple times a week.
I'm going to flush you out of my system like a skinny tea sold on TikTok that's actually just a laxative that flushes all of it
You're
out.
dumb.
You are currently bloating me with your nonsense, and I'm so ready to be a skinty little girl who has no taha in my system.
You're so funny.
Thank you.
My green flag for this episode and season is the little thing you said at the end of the last episode that I didn't hear because my headphones were off, where you said that you actually love doing this podcast with me and I'm one of your closest friends.
Anyway,
And-
moving on. Thank you
yeah.
guys so much for listening. You
Yeah.
can like and
Thank you guys for
subscribe.
listening.
Since we're going to be gone for a tiny bit, it is your responsibility to keep that algorithm going. So you're going to have to pick up the baton, if you will, Olympic reference, and really make sure that you are rewatching things, re-listening to your favorite clips, and you need to be spending time with us every day since we will not be providing all that content. You have to you have to do the work.
Exactly.
And it's your responsibility, really. So thank you so much for doing that. And also,
yeah, thanks.
yeah, thanks in advance. If you don't do that,
We're
we might not.
We're just never gonna come back.
Yeah, we might not.
And you're gonna be like, did they die?
Yeah. And then
Isn't that a horrifying thought?
you dying? No, that's
Kevin's
a
gonna
dream.
shave off his mustache. No,
Stop
it's a
telling
dream for
them
me too.
I'm gonna do
You
something.
dying.
Stop.
Kevin's
deciding
going to shave
what
off his
I'm
mustache,
gonna
and
do.
Kevin will take off his shirt, and Kevin will do this, and Kevin will do that, because I dictate everything.
Yeah,
I am
dick.
dominant.
You dick, bitch. Yeah, you are.
And you
dick.
Tate, Andrew Tate. Ah, ha ha ha.
Nailed it.
Okay,
really leave
give me
him on a
some-
good note. Real great job. You
Okay.
really want to finish with a nice mediocre one. That's what the grades
We're
do.
actually ending on a reflective note today because it's our season finale. We're replacing the Tango comments with a season wrap-up reflection. What are some highs of this season from doing this podcast together?
I got nothing.
And lows.
I got nothing.
Fucking
got
bitch, you're
nothing.
a liar.
I'm making you a worse person, and I enjoy that.
I have become significantly meaner since episode 1.
Cheers.